I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight the stars and cars of U.S. Open Wheel C are going to take to an all-new racetrack for them, the Rudskogen Motor Center in Rudskogen, Norway. Second time we've been here. First time we went to hell, and the visit to the Lankebaan for Skippy Cross with the TNT Special Events Series. Now we're on a proper racing circuit. Well, Lankebaan's a proper racing circuit too, but, you know, circuit racing, open wheel cars, the good stuff. My name's Chris Graham, joined by James Watson and Sebastian Kinder. We're going to go straight to a comment because I'm okay with this. Let's go to 90210. So how hard am I allowed to shit on motorsports games and RF2? Yes.
As hot as you want.
Yes.
All of it.
Thank you.
Give us all of the dookie.
That's going to get clipped and replayed somewhere 500,000 times. Practice
Excellent.
is over.
Yes.
David Porcelli, I think, was quick time there in the practice session. Qualifications getting underway as we speak. Before we get to that, though, let's take a look here and show you the championship point standings for the broadcast entering tonight's race. The Indy Pro 2000 Championship currently being led by Mr. Ted Burns by 8 over David Porcelli. Carter Lundy 30 back to the leader, 22 back to Porcelli in the third position. So pretty decent-sized gap to the top two. Then, I mean, this is tight. Everett Paddock only 7 back. Nagiso Shikawa 3 back of Paddock in 5th. Andrew Berry, Nicholas Daly are tied for 6th. Sean P. Malloy Esquire in the 8th position. Nikita Lastochkin and Chris Preston, your top 10. Taking a look at the official overall standings as well heading into tonight's race. That one's going to belong to Ted Burns, but only by 3 points over David Porcelli, Carter Lundy, Nagiso Shikawa, and Nicholas Daly, your top 5. Let's take a look. We'll pick up with Ted Burns as he is out on the racetrack. And we'll bring up the timing tower so you can see where your favorite is checking in the qualifying order. Rudskogen, I believe, 14 turns, 17 turns, something like that. It's interesting. We just watched the USF 2000, the US Open Wheel D-Class race. It was interesting, and one of the storylines that will come into play here in this race tonight, James, the track limits and the slowdowns are going to bite somebody at some point in this race.
Yeah, like, it doesn't take much to trigger them. Most of the time, you don't even realize you're putting your car in an area where it will trigger it, and then all of a sudden you have 1.9 seconds that you need to give back. And with a lot of the corners that are on this track, it kind of messes with how it's coded, so sometimes you'll be off throttle in that corner and it'll be adding time, and you're like, what more can I do to get rid of it? So it's going to play a lot of chaos because it's going to be more than 1.9 seconds you're going to be giving up.
Yeah, you're going to give up a ton of time here. And Seb, the other thing that we saw, as much as this place has some great corners, passing is going to be difficult. You are going to, I think the word we used is gutsy if you're going to try and attempt to pass.
Yes.
That's something that's going to come into play here as well.
Turn 1 and turn 4 are the overtaking hotspot. Everywhere else, good luck with that. You're going to need a mistake from your opponent to pass. But I don't think that would be impossible for the high-end talent we have on this field right now.
Yeah. Let's see. Next comment from 90210 coming in here. Like, who decided that using a game that has had known connection issues for the last 10-plus years for a broadcast 24-hour race? I can tell you who. The accountants and lawyers, that's who. Craig Lundy going to the top of the board, 1 minute 15.609 seconds. Only 400ths off Ted Burns. He put up a good lap on lap number 1. Let's pick up Lundy here, see what he's going to do on lap 2. Sim Racing Center on the side of the number 3 entry. Good lap for Nicholas Daly, Richard Holt, Carl Lemkool, 3.45 right now. Daly only about a 10th off of Carter Lundy's quick time. Bigger drop-off back to Holt, Lemkool, and Porcelli. 29 cars on the entry list means a 15 and a 14 car split here tonight. Daytona being this weekend, obviously having a little bit of an effect on participation numbers. Also a new venue, maybe not everybody wanting to purchase a new track right after the holidays as well, but... hold on to it. Nice save. I tell you what, I have had a lot of fun driving it. In prepping the cameras for this week, it's a fun drive. It really is. High-speed cars, low-speed cars. Oh, buddy, keep it on the racetrack, Nicholas Daly. New quick
and Lucas
time.
on pole.
Ted Burns to the top of the charts. 1 minute 15.443. He's going to have a 10th now over Carter Lundy. Daly does not improve on lap number 2. Richard Holt, Nagisa Yoshikawa in the top 5. Pick up David Porcelli as he comes across the start-finish line to complete his qualification run. In fact, he's going to be the last car to complete his run, and it's going to be a lap good for 4th quick, 1 minute 15.773 seconds. So cars are going to start to come out on to the grid. And as they fill in, we will get you the starting lineup. First comments are coming in. The Bizzler saying, much car very fast. Oh my God, fast cars passed me. Apparently he's also going, in addition to spamming the iRacing chat, he's going to spam our broadcast with the comments tonight as well. Ted Burns.
Now we
just feel Bizzle.
Now we just need my I don't feel safe keybind.
Yes. Ted Burns, Carter Lundy on row number 1. Nicholas Daly and David Porcelli on row number 2. Richard Holt, Nagisa Yoshikawa on row 3. Row 4 will have Carl Lemkool for Downforce Racing and Rod Eskew. Jay Dixon and other the Downforce Racing cars lining up alongside the NASA live read number 10 of Brian Labarge on row number 5. Row 6, Stephen C. Thompson and Mike Holler. Row number 7 will have Trent Dursmid and Joseph Heath. That's a couple of new names. And Greg LeBoard going to line up in the 15th position here this evening. Everybody out on the grid, so the pace car will pull away here momentarily.
I don't feel safe!
There it is.
Patrick's going to be out working the Motorsports Expo trade show, whatever they're called, or whatever it's called, this weekend at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center. Whole lot of news expected to drop there this weekend. Apparently, the show hasn't even started yet. There's already some shenanigans going on out there. We'll see what's going on, but kind of like a mini PRI for those of you in the Northeast United States. Swing on down to Oaks, Pennsylvania this weekend. Always a good show, good pictures, get some autographs. The Miss Motorsports pageant will be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. as well.
Ah, the Redacting Pro 2000 cars are so good.
Yes.
Yeah, these cars, they sound good, they look good. I am hoping we get a barn burner of a race here. This one it's not draft locked by any stretch. It's an interesting racetrack to me. I don't know any other way to say it. You have to be precise. And if you want to get the big pass made, you're going to have to kind of flop the balls out there on the table and see who's got the bigger set.
Just send the stamp. Just lick the stamp and send it.
Yes. Going full Danny Rick on us now.
Hell yeah.
Heading into this race, Ted Burns with a, 51-point lead over David Porcelli. Both drivers with only 5 weeks counted. Everett Paddock only has 5 as well, but he's sitting on 811 points. Great battles are coming. The first lap of this one, as always, going to be all yours. How about it? Teddy B checking out to an early race lead. Carter Lundy lost the spot right at the start, able to make it back up by the time they get out of turn number 2. David Porcelli now having to contend with Nicholas Daly, Richard Holt, Nagisa Yoshikawa, all battling there. That's 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Carter Lundy has been good here this week. His numbers in the D-Class car are ridiculous. Let's see. His numbers in the the Indy Pro car, 6 weeks, 28 starts, 15 wins. That's ridiculous.
Aliens.
Yeah, Ted Burns,
Aliens.
how about 16 starts, 13 wins, 16 top 5s, 13 poles.
Wow.
And he's led 226 of 322 laps completed.
Wow.
Good
Wow.
Lord.
Wow.
By the way, strength of field tonight, 34-12. This one's pretty good. The USF 2000 race, again, over 4,000 for the USF split, which is ridiculous. You'll see that one coming up here right at the conclusion of the interviews here on this one. 90210 checking in here in the comments saying, this track reminds me of Shannonville, Ontario. I'm not familiar with it, but great bike track, but too tight for most cars.
I'm pretty sure that I've probably seen that in one of the many times I've watched Wes play GeoGuessr race car version, but I do not remember it.
But I think he's kind of right. Great bike track. I think Rudskogen could be a very good track for bikes, actually.
Yeah, I could see it being just like Barber, a great bike track, kind of difficult for anything with 4 wheels.
Picking up here on the battle for the 9th position. That's Mike Holler, Rod Eskew, and Greg Laborde-Ish. One of the tighter fights on the racetrack right now. Holler able to hold off.
Whoa.
Eskew, wow, big wide entry there by Mike Holler. That's going to close the gap back up. Holler, the wide entry. Eskew down the inside. Wow, see
crossover.
that back end twitching on Mike Holler's race car. Good Lord. And don't look now, race fans. Things may be getting a little spicy here at the front. Well, the gap was down to about 3/10 between Carter Lundy and Ted Burns. Early trouble on the racetrack for Stephen C. Thompson. Let's take a look here and see what happened a little bit deeper in the field. The Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Thompson, that blue, black, and red car. Little hot on corner entry. Loop-de-loop. Barely kissed the arm cone.
Yeah, he held too much speed.
Now the battle for
just
the
a
lead
little
tight
bit.
again. Lundy right up under the rear wing, the gearbox of Ted Burns. David Porcelli going to enjoy the view.
Yeah, because David's kind of on the verge of falling out of the draft rank. This is great. I just love how these races always seem to come down to an absolute slugfest of the Titans.
Oh, Lundy taking a peek.
So it's already with the redacted Pro 2000.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Actually, I believe this is now USF Pro is what Anderson Promotions is calling it. USF 2000 Pro or something?
Presented by NXT?
Negative Ghost Rider.
I know, I just wanted to trick you.
Apparently, we are going pro wrestling,
did.
though, in Indy Lights. Absolutely classic, iconic branding that everybody in racing knows what it is. Let's play with it instead of fixing the actual terrible branding that we get out of... Well, never mind.
You know what's great branding, though, that IndyCar went for? Having their game made by something called Motorsports Games. It's so simple, what could go wrong?
Everything went wrong.
If you're a shareholder of Motorsport Games, a lot can go wrong.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
If you're involved with them in any way, a lot can go wrong.
Can confirm.
Whoa, Carter taking a long
Lundy
way
way
around.
outside. Man alive. Good Lord, he caught right back up, though.
Yeah. Wow. It's making those line works.
I'll tell you what, it's almost like the Jimmy Johnson diming the corner off. Dive it in real deep, slide wide, and then just absolute hammer down at the midpoint of the corner.
Yeah, he was able to carry so much momentum. It's kind of like I got a high bank short track, you know, running the high line and maximizing the momentum off the corner. Like, he used that to perfection. It's a shame that that next set of corners is right after it, where you can't really make a pass unless you're really feeling dive bombing.
Frisky.
But he got Ted Burns really rattled because he keeps defending the inside line, and that is what Porcelli wants to see. These two fighting it out.
Yeah, heck, for that matter, Nicholas Daly in fourth is just as excited to see this. The top two starting to duke it out means everybody else gets to come back to the party.
Yeah, like he's heating up Ted's rear so much, the rear wing's about to catch on fire.
Well, want to do a barbecue after this race, James?
Yeah, no kidding. I
You're
got
invited, Chris.
marshmallows.
Come on now, it's not a Stewart Haas Cup car we're talking about here.
Oh, come on!
Ouch! Ouch! That hurts.
That got both of us.
Speaking of Stewart Haas Cup cars, Ryan Preece and his NASCAR Cup Series car will be at the Motorsports Expo trade show in Hair Care Tire Center going on this weekend. Always like to get to talk to Ryan. He's a good kid.
Oh, he let the door open. He's going to dive.
Go.
Oh, there it is. And
And
here
here
comes
comes
Porcelli. Porcelli looking outside. He's off track. That's going to be a slowdown. That's what caught out, I think, what may have caught out Ted Burns. We'll see.
No, the slowdown is on the right-hand part.
There's
after
Lundy.
The quick
Oh, what a move.
Oh, is there
Lundy, way to the outside, forced Ted Burns into the reaction. Man, that's going to bring everybody back into play here.
Ed Burns is making that car as wide as the track itself. How long can he keep it?
Hell, at this rate, Lem Cool and Holt are going to catch back up.
No.
Patrick, to make you feel better, at one time in my youth, I was a shareholder in championship auto racing teams.
Ooh.
Yeah. I bought something like 5,000 shares of it when it was a penny stock. It was like 5 cents a piece. Put $100 on it, you got like 5,000 shares, and then it went bankrupt a week later.
Right there, the inside of the right hand, that's where you get the slowdown on that corner. That or either the initial left hand. Not the exit. You're fine on the exit,
Look where Ted Burns is defending. Lundy, he's almost over the curbs on corner entry. Good Lord.
Extreme driving from both of these guys. Like, they're really squeezing all of the performance out of the car, and that is a beauty to see. This is a la Imola fight. You have to use your wits.
Fortune favors the brave and the bold, and occasionally the stupid.
I will say this is a masterclass in defensive driving by Ted Burns. Not blocking, not even bizzling. He's picking a line and sticking to it. But it's enough to force Carter Lundy into trying something else. Which that's where the mistake's going to happen. If you're Lundy, the mistake isn't because, oh, maybe that's a little bit of a Pruitt fade there by Burns, but...
Yeah, if there is anyone that I would feel comfortable reusing the nickname the Professor in the series, it would have to be Ted. We talk about the speed, the pure raw pace, but like the brain, like he's just so smart. The way he can process everything.
Porcelli is outright faster than Ted Burns at this point, especially through that corner down the bottom of the hill. But he forced Lundy so hard onto the brakes, Porcelli almost ran Lundy over from behind.
A little wide.
Yeah, see, that will be very interesting because now Lundy has to worry about Porcelli doing a move.
Yeah, like this completely hampers his options because he can't do something super risky because he'll risk giving up second place. And he'll really be up the creek.
And you would think you would carry enough momentum down the front straightaway that you would be able to try it. Oh, he does! Oh, there's contact! Burns almost goes around. What a save, Teddy B! Did Lundy get the slowdown inside on the curbs?
He was very on the right. Here comes Porcelli.
Here comes Porcelli inside. I think he might have.
He did.
Oh!
Oh, good Lord. Now Nicholas Daly right in the middle of this. And with 9 laps to go, Ted Burns is not out of this race by any stretch.
Nope, we've seen him cut through a lot bigger deficit than this.
It's 1.8 seconds right now. You got to wonder, is there possibly a little bit of damage on that machine? But if these guys are going to do battle, Ted Burns is going to get caught right back up.
Yeah, I want to see a replay. Was that any netcode involved, or was that genuine contact? Like, it was so close.
Let's take a look here. We'll get the NRN drone fired up here and take a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. The overhead look.
I think that's a corner.
Okay, that should be out of the final corner. Here's the run down into turn one. That backed us way up.
We'll blame the drone.
Yes.
I think that's a different lap.
Yeah. I'm seeing. Yeah, that's taking me back to the same replay. So.
We'll work on it later. Let's get back to the live action.
Yeah. Porcelli and Lundy. Unfortunately, I guess we're not going to have the replay for you. That sucks.
The longer Porcelli holds, the better it is for Ted Burns.
Problems for Rod Eskew, too.
Here we go. There's the move by Lundy. Yeah, that was
netcode.
Oh,
that sucks.
That's a shame. Stupid netcode always ruining the best battles.
Yep. Netcode can die in a hole.
Now, that also means there was contact. Now, Teddy B is catching up. He's cut the gap from 1.8 seconds down to 0.8 seconds. So he'll be there before the end of the race.
Yeah, now the question is have they discussed this incident already? Did they determine it was netcode? Or is Ted going to be running with the red mist?
How difficult is that to figure out when you're in car that it was netcode or not?
You can kind of have an idea. Like, you can either kind of see the netcode, you can see the distance in between the cars. Sometimes when the incident, it'll kind of allude to it because it'll go from it'll start off car contact 0 and then goes greater than into 4x. You usually don't see that unless it's netcode, from my experience. Plus, you could have also had Porcelli or Daly, who were behind the incident, come over the radar and said, yeah, no, it was netcode.
Oh, big dive up the inside by Lundy. Coming up the hill, Porcelli's going to have the preferred line. Lundy has to get back in line. Daly almost getting it off the racetrack.
And guess who? And Luke is back.
Yep.
Back again.
Trent Dusman and Mike Holler battling for 9th and 10th on the racetrack. Richard Holt, Carl Lemkool also pretty tight for 5th and 6th. We're going to stay right here with the top 4, though. This has been just fascinating to watch. I'm really intrigued how David Porcelli is electing to not cover the inside lane at turn 1. There's the there's the move, but he holds the line there. Here's where this is could set up Carter Lundy. If he carries a ton of speed down this hill, not able to attempt the pass that time. And Seb, this really feels like the kind of place, it's almost Barber Motorsports Park-esque in that you're kind of setting up a pass 2, 3, 4 corners ahead of where you're actually going to attempt it.
Even a whole lap, like that is the level of preparation you need to pull an overtake on someone, and it has a 30% chance of succeeding. So yep. And we didn't notice, but look who's third.
Yeah, Ted Burns getting around Nicholas Daly. 4 to go here at Rudskogen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lundy trying the
Here
outside.
Goes Eddie.
Oh,
Burns
boy.
going to be up the inside. Oh, this is going to
He's
hem
blocked.
everybody in. Oh, maybe not. Porcelli covers the outside. Lundy looking up the inside. Burns going to have great drive off that corner up the hill. These guys are fighting so hard. 5th and 6th, Carl Lemke, Richard Holt are catching the top 4.
Oh, here comes. Oh, and Porcelli left it wide open.
I wonder if Porcelli didn't get a slowdown. That was way too wide open.
Yeah, that one corner, you can also get that switchback right after.
He may have, he's definitely got a slowdown.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about turn 1. Right there, that particular corner, that too is also really nasty on the slowdown.
So now, Craig Lundy, Ted Burns, Nicholas Daly, David Porcelli are your top 3. And Lundy's worked that line to perfection. Teddy B's going to have to be on the giving end of the bonsai pass attempt here with a couple of laps to go. I will say, though, Carter Lundy kind of tipped his hand a little bit. What lines he likes to run, where he makes the most speed. Ted Burns now, he has that information. I guess now, do you just have to take a lap and figure out what to do with it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Chris, there's only 2 laps to go, so...
And getting there is one thing, passing him is another. Yeah, you know what he's going to do, what he's going to run, but can you come up with anything that will better that? We'll see.
Well, we'll see right now, James.
Burns up the inside, and he gets that pass completed easily.
That was too easy.
It was way too easy. What does he have up his sleeve?
A slowdown. Or he wants to be in the attacking position. Some guys are like that. They want to be on the attack when you come down to the white flag lap. Because, almost like you don't want to be first going into turn 5 at Road America with 1 to go.
I can definitely understand that. I'm a lot more prone to making a mistake when I'm the car ahead rather than the car behind. It's a lot easier to come from a place with nothing to lose, so to speak, than to be up in front with everything to lose.
Oh, there's the bobble for Teddy B. Oh! Almost contact.
And now Daly's in the mix.
Now, something I don't think we pointed out. Where is the line? Can he draft up and get him at the line?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Here it comes on the
I'm
inside.
pretty sure you can.
Ooh.
Big dive by Lundy up the inside. Oh, but I think he's going to have the slowdown.
I think he was just on the edge. He might be okay. I'm not sure.
But he's going to have a terrible exit out of that turn. If Teddy wants to make a move, it's right now.
The way he's defending, I don't think he got the slowdown.
Here comes
Oh, and
Daly.
here comes Daly on Ted Burns. What a final couple of laps here at Rudskogen. Still half a lap to go. Oh, and a bobble from Teddy B. That might be the end of it.
All it took was one mistake, and this is...
Off the final corner, twin checkers will go in the air. Your race winner, Carter Lundy, over Ted Burns and Nicholas Daly. David Porcelli comes home fourth. Great battle, a little deeper in the field. Richard Holt rounding out the top five. Once again, a fantastic show out of U.S. Open Wheel C. First time to the Rudskogen Motor Center. And it's going to be Carter Lundy heading off to victory lane.
This is how you see the talent of those guys. Setting up the pass, setting up defenses, doing the less mistakes possible to get the win. This is pure technique.
Yeah, that was fun to watch. The driving was just spectacular from these guys.
So, looking at the results, I don't think Porcelli was able to get the slowdown cleared in time.
No, I don't think he was. It's going to be Lundy, Burns, Daly, Holt, Lemkool, your top five, followed by Yoshikawa, Dixon, Dersman, Laborde, and Heath. Then Mike Holler in 11th and David Porcelli in the 12th position, 49 seconds back. So he did not clear the slowdown penalty. They'll be followed home by Brian Labarge, Stephen C. Thompson, and Rod Eskew, all having issues at various points in this race. And man alive, that was... There's no other way to put it. That one was fun. We've got another great one coming up here in just a moment. Let's talk to our race winner here in victory lane. Carter Lundy, fantastic drive, great pass. Talk us through the battle with Ted Burns, David Porcelli. All night long, you guys were really fighting each other hard.
Yeah, I came into this track thinking that not much would happen, but I mean that race proved that wrong. At the start of the race, I was a little bit quicker than Ted. I could put a lot of pressure on him, and I was just trying all sorts of things, trying to pass into many different corners. And then obviously I tried going for the move on the outside of turn one. I wasn't trying to win the race there. I was just trying to test the waters a little bit, see what I could do. But I just got a little pinched onto the curb, and I didn't want to take an off track, so I didn't have, or sorry, not an off track. It's really strict with slowdowns there. So I was just trying to be as tight as possible without hitting him or getting a slowdown. But yeah, I'm not sure if it was physical contact or net code, but thankfully neither of us got damaged. He was able to catch back up. And then at the end of the race, of course, I gave back the position into turn one just because it seemed like the fair thing to do. And I wanted to give us another shot at having a battle without contact.
I see. We thought it was a slowdown. It was gentleman driving, which I can't believe I'm hearing that coming. Not that you're not a good guy or anything, but I'm not that good of a human to say I want to do this without netcode contact. That was pretty intense. Obviously, you talked about the strictness of the slowdowns. David Porcelli picking one up as well. How much does that impact your decision making on where, like that pass into turn one? You know, turn two has a really crazy slowdown. Does that change how you might want to approach that corner attempting a pass there?
It definitely does. And a couple of races ago, I think the last USF race before the broadcast, I was having a battle with Ted, and I took a slowdown there. And from there on, I hadn't thought about it much in the race, but from there on out, I was just being a little bit more cautious through all the corners where you could get a slowdown. I wasn't like being super cautious and driving like a wimp, but it was just something in your mind to keep note of. But yeah, thankfully I didn't get one this race.
Well, I tell you what, this one's big on the broadcast championship standings as well. Going to put you right back into the thick of things as we're approaching the halfway point. Also going to be big for the overall point standings as well. Little bit back there with the 3 guys ahead of you not having week 6 counted yet. How hard can you push in going for a championship? You entered this race 200 points back. Is that something that you feel you can make up?
Oh, that's for the in-game championship?
Yes, that's for the overall iRacing championship.
Okay, so the overall with USF and Indy Pro?
No, just the official Open Wheel C.
Oh, okay.
Just Indy Pro.
Okay. Yeah, I've looked at it a couple times. I'm not entirely sure how that works. The system they use, because I have a lot more races and a lot more wins. So I'd think it would just be of whoever has the most like wins and points or whatever. But there's some different system for it.
Yes.
I mean,
the convoluted
it's not
system.
super. Yeah, it's not super important. I mean, maybe it's something in the back of your mind, but yeah, I've not thought about that one too much. But I mean, it'd be nice to win it, but I'm not going to put in an extra 100 races just to try and go for it.
Interesting. Well, a lot of guys, they go the other direction. They don't have many starts, and they just run the SOFs. You, on the other hand, run everything. This is now start number 29 this season in this car. Congratulations on the win. This one was big. And before we let you go, make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of.
Yep. It's been. Well, I was here last week, but yeah. Thanks again for the great stream. I'm really excited to go watch this one back. It's always entertaining. It's always good to watch. So I'm very appreciative of that for you for setting it up. And yeah, thanks again. Thanks to Sim Racing Center. They're on the side of my car. They're the sponsor. simracingcenter.com, and yeah, that's just about it.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out for a minute here. And now time to talk to the guy who finished in second position here tonight. That would be Mr. Ted Burns. And I'll tell you what, man, Carter telling us that he gave the position back to you after the contact. He felt that was the gentlemanly thing to do. I told him, I don't know that I have the gumption to make that same kind of move. What does that say to you about him as a driver, that somebody's going to say, hey, I don't like how that happened. I want to do this clean?
That's awesome. I mean, hands down to Carter. That's a really gentleman move of him. Awesome sportsmanship. I mean, it was hard racing, the incident. I know I squeezed him a little bit. He kind of stuck his nose in there. So, I'd chalk it up as a racing incident. So I didn't expect to get that spot back, at all. So the fact, he felt, it could have gone, been his fault and gave it back. That's awesome. And, I really appreciate that out of him. And, that just means that we can trust each other that much more to drive that hard, week in, week out, and be that close and, leave the slimmest of margins to each other because just because we have that kind of trust with each other. And that's what's so awesome about this series. And that's not just Carter, but, I know David would do the same thing in that situation. Nick, anyone else who's up there racing with us.
Yeah, and you guys really put on a heck of a battle. David, unfortunately, not getting to clear the slowdown in time, but talk us through a little bit of this race, because the place almost feels to me, Rudskogen, like Barber or some other places where, in fact, the comment was made, great for bikes, a little too narrow for cars. This place is tough to pass at, and you really had to go for it and be almost overly aggressive when attempting a pass.
Yeah, for sure. You really had to send it. You had to have a lot of confidence in the car to be able to make that kind of move. And it was tough. It was just all about car placement. If you're in front, you can kind of drive your own line and make it hard for them to pass. And so it was definitely a tough race to be out in front or to try and pass.
Well, big night in the points for you as well, opening up a pretty solid margin over David now. Do you start to think about that this early in the season, or is that something you kind of just push off and say, we'll let that happen later?
Yeah, for sure. Always, I kind of had that in the back of my mind all race. Needed to have a good points night. I've been kind of behind him the last couple of weeks, and I think he's 1 week less than me, so it's still really tight. I think we're down to single digit points separating us if you start counting for some drops. So every point matters. So even though I didn't get the win tonight, it was definitely a good night in the points race to try and bring it to David in the season long championship.
All right, buddy. Well, great night for you and Nicholas, for that matter. Downforce Racing putting 2 cars on the podium. Congratulations on that. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, for sure. First off, got to thank Downforce Racing. Nick did a bunch of work on the setup this week, and it was just awesome to go out there and have just such a great starting point this week. So props to him and everyone else on the team for all their hard work. Thanks, you guys, for putting on an awesome broadcast. Can't wait to go watch it back. It was a fun one to drive, so I'm sure it was to call. And good luck to anyone racing in the Daytona this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. The 24 hours of Daytona coming up. We will not be broadcasting that, by the way. Teddy B, thank you very much for hanging out with us here. Let's bring in Nicholas Daly, our 3rd place finisher here this evening. A very nice run for you, Nicholas. Talk us through the night. You were kind of in positions to go on the attack. You kind of had to watch a little bit. You got to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, man, I really got to enjoy the show up and ahead of me. Those guys battling almost every lap, it seemed like. So yeah, it was pretty fun. I was just doing what I could to keep up and see if I could take advantage of any opportunities there.
Yeah, and you certainly got your chance to. In fact, getting a big run late in the race on Ted. Does the thought cross your mind at all of, I don't want to necessarily go after a teammate that hard?
Right. Yeah, that's definitely part of it. But I think where I had that run coming out of turn 3, there really isn't much of an opportunity there, anyways. So yeah, it's going to be a low percentage move.
Yeah, don't pull the low percentage move on the teammate. That's a good way to get everybody pissed at you. Well, I'll tell you what, man, a great drive tonight. Fantastic showing up on the podium. Like I said to Ted, 2 Downforce Racing cars on the podium. He gave you a lot of credit for the setups as well. So congratulations on the 3rd place finish, and do all the sponsor plugs and thank yous before we get you out of here.
Yeah, thank you as always, Downforce Racing, the setup work we do in practice, and thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast, and thank you all the viewers for watching.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you hanging out with us here for a few minutes. And man alive, that one was fun as we go back to the live scenic look here. U.S. Open Wheel C coming to a close. Don't go anywhere, though. More racing action coming up here. U.S. Open Wheel D class race. That one was almost as good as this one was. You don't want to miss it. Crazy iRating on that one, too. For the strength of field. But Seb, we'll come to you first. Did we kind of get what we expected here tonight?
I got more than what I bargained for. Like having this Imola style, Barber style battle for US Open We'll See. That was such an enjoyable fight, and Redacted Pro 2000 never disappoints. It just never disappoints.
Yes, that is correct. And James, the more we think about this one, the more I'm looking at some pretty spectacular stuff coming out of the newly, I'm going to say, merged U.S. Open Wheel C and U.S. Open Wheel D. The schedule alignment, the time slot alignments, this is having the desired effect. Even on a week with lower numbers because of the Daytona 24 coming up this weekend on iRacing, we still had 2 great strength of field, multi-split races in both of these classes.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of us here were kind of against this change, but yeah, we're kind of hardcore eating our word because this season has been incredible with all the splits, all the high I rating SOFs. Even here, this probably would have been like a small single split last season, but we had gotten what was normal numbers for us on a popular track week from last season. So it's incredible to see the series revitalize this way, and something that we didn't really think we would see.
No, we were kind of down in the dumps come last season, the end of last season. In fact, we signed off that we did not anticipate coming back for this U.S. Open Wheel C Series. And man alive, am I glad we did. Fun racing tonight. We've got even more coming up for you here as we get ready for U.S. Open Wheel D-Class. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the U.S. Open Wheel Doubleheader right here on the National Racing Network.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
All right, everybody, welcome back here. We are at Rudskogen, the second time we're going to be doing this one here tonight. You just watched the U.S. Open Wheel C-Class race. Qualifying getting underway. Let's pick up Carter Lundy as he makes his way out onto the racetrack. And let's get the timing tower up so you can see where your favorites are running. James, this is the second time we've been to Norway. We've been to the Lankebahn in hell. You're still bitter about Skippy Cross, but this place to me tonight really is going to be kind of interesting because a couple of long straights, but not a ton of passing opportunities, especially in these USF 2000 cars. Things could get a little bit interesting out there.
Yeah, this is such a unique track. Like, there's a couple straights and high-speed sections, but there's a lot of kind of painful and cumbersome corners that you have to deal with. A lot of hairpins, a lot of elevation, and usually it can kind of wreak a little havoc with these cars because the open diff tends to make the rear a little more unstable. Also, you'll get the rear to kick out a lot more. If you notice, you saw a little bit of a wiggle from Carter early on his outlap. So, also, there's a lot of areas that you can get some pretty weak slowdowns. Like if you cut that first corner just a little too much, that's like a 1.5 seconds slowdown. It's pretty infuriating. So it'll be interesting watching the drivers today have to deal with that again.
Let's take a look as they're turning laps here in qualifications at the point standings for the U.S. Open Wheel D Broadcast Series. Carter Lundy, your points leader by 11 over David Porcelli. Another 5 back is going to be Ted Burns at a big gap. Back to Nicholas Daly, Nagisio Shikawa tied for 4th. Richard Holt, James Watson, Jerome Lamy, Marcello Panicia, and Ben Holko making up your top 10 here in the standings. The other one we got to look at are the overall standings. This is, again, heading into tonight. Teddy B still riding the early season cushion, but it's only a 3-point lead over David Porcelli. Carter Lundy, Nagisio Shikawa, Nicholas Daly working out your top 5 as we're going to get ready to head off to Spa next week.
Nice.
First lap's going to be coming up on the board here shortly, and Carter Lundy is going to go top of the charts, 1 minute 19.910 seconds. Nagisio Shikawa, Carl Lemkel into the top 3. Now Teddy B, Ted Burns, he was up to 2nd. How about Sebastian Flock? That's a new name for us. He's going to be only a 1/4 second off of Craig Lundy's time. Another new name, Lachlan Capel, into the 4th position. Only 13 cars in this split because we have 3 total splits tonight. Pretty deep field, 43.52 for the iRating. Holy crap. Week in and week out, these guys are doing this stuff, Seb. 2nd week in a row, Seb, you've been in the booth with us. I don't know. You show up and the heavy iron shows up here on the racetrack, too.
I show up because the entertainment of the high iRating is there for us. The high-end talent is here for us.
Yeah, you can say that again as we are halfway through the qualification session. Carter Lundy coming around to finish his 2nd lap. This is one of my favorite sections. Massive, almost 360-degree corner, wraps all the way around. Very Fuji-esque final corner. Over the start-finish line, lap number 2 for Carter Lundy. Even faster, 1 minute 19.640. He's got a 1/2 second on the rest of the field. Ted Burns, great lap. He's only a 1/3 of a second back now as we pick up with Cameron Dance making his way around to complete his 2nd lap. Over the start-finish line for Dance, and it will be 4th quick, 1 minute 20.011 seconds. Let's pick up David Porcelli carrying car number 1. He is your high iRating man in the field at a 64.94. Lap number 1 only good for 12th quick. And it looks like Richard Holt's going to be the last car to come across the line in fairly short order here as well. So Porcelli's going to cross the line. It will be not long after that Richard Holt will cross the line. And then we will see everybody that is here that has completed their qualification session. Pick up Richard Holt. An F1 livery. Yes.
Oh, I approve this. I approve this. I approve this. It's the Legion livery. Dispatch Frost.
And there you go. He's over the line. Qualifications are done. Richard Holt does not improve. Well, the lap time improved, but his run, his qualifying position, did not. He is going to start tonight from the 9th position. Take a look.
I'm gonna be frustrating, James. Like, you improve your time, but not your position. That's always frustrating.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something I think all of us here are kind of used to, unfortunately.
Fields getting ready to come out onto the racetrack. Carter Lundy and Ted Burns occupying row number 1. No surprise there. Those two have been fantastic to watch at the front of the field over the last few weeks. Nicholas Daly and Cameron Dance on row number 2. Lachlan Capel and Sebastian Flock on row 3. A couple of guys out of the Aussie-New Zealand region. Carl Lemkool and Nagiso Yoshikawa on row number 4. Richard Holt, Rod Eskew on row 5. David Porcelli and Mike Eckmere on row number 6. All alone on row 7 will be the number 13 of Michel Prudhomme out of the Midwest. Michelle, let me know in the comments after the show here. That it looks like Michelle, but it could be Michael.
Yeah.
I think it is Michael. I've raced with Michael quite a few times, and the few times I do run the USF 2000 in officials, he's usually there in it.
Yeah,
Carter Lundy.
His name is very French sounding.
I say it sounds very French. Michel Prudhomme.
Yeah, actually, Prudhomme, for fun fact, is actually where you go if you have an issue with your bosses at work. Kind of like tribunal.
Interesting.
That was a strange anecdote of the day.
Yes. So taking a look here, 11 laps will be the distance here on this one tonight.
That's a very short distance. So
yeah, the laps are actually fairly long, and when you look at this place, it's kind of set up on the hillsides and all. When they cover this in the real world, and they don't have the ability to put 800 cameras out like we can here in iRacing, you can actually cover the entire racetrack with like 4 cameras on top of the big rock ledges that you see all over the racetrack. They'll put cameras up on top of those, and you can see huge swaths of the racetrack. I would imagine an incredible place. The hillside, just up there on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see down on both sides, almost all the way around you. A lot of places that have just great sight lines here at the Rudskogen Motor Center.
It's a fun track. I would love to be able to just sit and watch a race here. Like, I'm so grateful that iRacing added this place, because I feel like quite a few people, including myself, weren't really aware this track was around and how much of a hidden gem it is.
Yeah,
me too.
Go ahead,
I'm
Seth.
freaking European. No, I just said I too wasn't aware, and I'm freaking European.
Yeah, it's one of those places that sort of has that feel of it's a better place to hot lap than it is to outright race. But something tells me the USF 2000 guys are going to prove us wrong here. Through the final carousel, they're going to get out onto the front straight away, and it will be time to go green flag racing. And as always, fans, the start of this one going to be all yours. Looks like everybody cleanly through turns 1 and 2. First of the possible passing opportunities, the big dive down into the sweeper. You're going to have to be gutsy if you want to try it through there, and you got to complete the pass before corner exit, because it's not a long run. Uphill into the snap left, right, left kind of S's section. I'll tell you what, guys, this one, I'm really excited to see how this race shakes out. Ted Burns is going to have to force the issue if he wants to get around Carter Lundy tonight.
Yeah, there's... Oh, speaking of forcing the issue... They touch!
Seb is so excited his network connection crashed.
Yeah, I don't know if that's happy French noises, angry French noises. All I know is it's robotic French noises.
I say that's R2-D2 French noises.
I'm just hoping that Ted doesn't have any front wing damage after that. It doesn't seem like he does with how he's able to get right back up to him, but Wow, that was interesting.
Are we calling Seb Arva Deva today?
We.
R2D2, bordel.
Top 4 breaking away. Carl Lebkuhl holding on to 5th position. Oh, trouble for Nagisa Yoshikawa, it looks like. Let's see. Michel Prudhomme also having an issue. Let's take a look here. Nagisa, oh, he just bailed off the racetrack. Came into the pit area. That's odd.
Maybe.
I wonder. No.
Trouble for Michel Prudhomme as well.
There's some really. The damage model for the USF and the PM18 is kind of broken. Like, the slightest little tap will give you a meatball. The car will be driving fine. Like, absolutely no problems whatsoever. But a light enough shunt will give you a meatball, and it's incredibly infuriating.
Oh, big contact. That was
Now
Richard Holt.
Now that's a meatball that will be earned. That is legitimate.
Oh,
damage.
trouble for Teddy B.
Oh! Championship implication!
Hold up.
Is that Burns?
What happened? That was Ted
Is
Burns.
that Burns?
Wow, he's just pulling off as well.
Is he still good? Hardware issue? Pedal? He's back going, but oh, you know what? It's probably one of the stupid slowdowns I mentioned.
Yeah. Wow, Cameron Dance, Nicholas Daly getting around Ted Burns, and Carter Lundy is checked out. He's got 2.5 seconds over second place.
Yeah, this is disastrous for those that were trying to fight for the lead. Like, that's the bad thing when you're having this draft train and you're relying on the car ahead to keep you on the train, because if that car drops off, you're suddenly going from like 3-4 tenths from the car ahead to a second and a half and out of the draft. And all of a sudden, all your plans of trying to draft manipulate up to the front are gone.
David Porcelli on pit lane.
What is
What's
happening?
going on?
Didn't see what happened, but looks like Nagisa Yoshikawa having to take the tow back into pit lane. Didn't see an incident for David Porcelli. Mike Ekmir was the car involved with Richard Holt in the big incident.
But you know, James, you're talking about slightest touch created a meatball. Like that is also in the LMP2 when I practiced at Daytona this week. I just did a very slight contact against the wall in turn 1, and that got a meatball. The car was perfectly drivable, but still had a meatball.
Yeah, in a race in this car, I ran at like the last time slot of Summit Point Week. There was a big wreck that I had just about avoided until someone rolled back into me and just lightly tapped the rear tire as I was going by. Car was perfectly fine, no problems whatsoever. Meatball, and I had to pit. And during shock in Richmond, you know, my car, I got caught up in an incident. My car was damaged, but was still mostly drivable and fine. I had all 4 wheels. 7 minutes of required repairs. Like,
please, iRacing, fix that, please.
Picking up the battle here between Rod Eskew and Sebastian Flock. That's really the only other close one on the racetrack right now, other than this battle for second, third, and fourth. Cameron Dance, Ted Burns, and Nicholas Daly. Carl Lemkool also going to be in that one a little bit. But right now, Dance and Burns. Big recovery for Teddy B if he's able to get back up to the second position.
Wait, are they going to lap someone?
And something else that we sort of have to consider at least a little bit here, guys. Carter Lundy is not out of the woods on the slowdowns either. He's only 3.5 seconds up. You give up, if you have to give up, say, 0.7 of a second on the slowdown, you're actually giving up a lot more than 0.7 of a second. You're giving up the 0.7 plus the time to decelerate and accelerate.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it varies from car to car significantly. Like, my only actual experience around this track, oddly enough, is in 2 different street stock races around this place. And the time you have to give up in a street stock... Oh! Speaking of, that's probably another slowdown. Man, this is crazy.
Okay, willpower.
Yeah, there it is. Looks like potential. Well, maybe not giving the spot up, but almost a little left side loving there from Cameron Dance on Ted Burns. Man, and the way that slowdown hit, it just let Carter Lundy absolutely check out. You just saw a brief glimpse of him there. Off in the distance. Oh, a little bit wide for Dance.
Here it comes.
Burns going to have the inside line, but he can't do anything with it out of the corner. You almost wonder if that little bit wider lane isn't the spot to be in.
Dance has been looking pretty tight on the corners now for like a lap or two. Oh no, there are other people joining the party now. That is something to me to be rubbing your hands about.
Yeah, now Nicholas Daly's there. Carl Lemkool is starting to catch in a little bit as well. You got to go back another 3-4 seconds to get to Lachlan Capel in the 6th position. There's still about 2 seconds between Daly and Lemkool for 4th and 5th. So, race leader Carter Lundy, he gone. Out ahead by 3.9 seconds over the battle for second. Oh, Cameron Dance slides a little wide. A little loosey-goosey on the rear end. Can't have him with the rear end being loose.
Yeah, his handling is getting worse and worse. Like, I don't think he'll be able to hold Teddy B that long.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, because you look at Ted Burns, he was almost alongside entering that carousel. He runs the far inside lane. Dance was about a car width off the bottom. He's doing it here, too, at turn 3. Kind of the same line. Now, maybe Teddy B's going to have a shot, but no, he's got to get back in line.
Oh,
little tramp, little gutsy, big dive up the inside by Ted Burns. He's got him.
Ooh, maybe.
Oh, Dance thought about fighting back.
Got him.
We'll go full Rob Howden here. Book that one, baby. Ted Burns up to second. Cameron Dance, Nicholas Daly now 2, 3, 4 with 4 to go.
You know, turn 4, that reminds me of turn 1 at Daytona.
No kidding.
When does Cameron Dance make the move, and does he have to do it the same way as Ted Burns did it? He may be able to get him clear by the time they get to turn 1 if he can get the momentum up out of that carousel. That seems to be where Cameron Dance has been able to carry a little bit more speed. Kind of a case study, James, in driving styles. some guys want to really back the corner up, slow in, and really fast off. Other guys want to drive it a little bit harder into the corner and sacrifice a little bit of that speed just to not leave the door open.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough corner, that corner that Ted made the move in. You know, it's such a fast corner, and you have the downhill, and then you it banks in, and then you have an uphill. Like, it's really easy to carry too much speed and just slide off. And then you have that quick little chicane that you have to worry about. And oftentimes you'll find yourself kind of side by side with the car, so someone has to lift. And as you can imagine, that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, not everybody is going to be the nice guy that will lift and get off the loud pedal. Haven't updated everybody yet on the point standings heading into this race for the U.S. Open Wheel D-Class Series. Let's see. We'll get them pulled up here as we're down to about a lap and a half to go here.
Dang, already?
Yeah, this one goes quick.
Yeah, Lundy is long gone. That's a Greg Seitz performance right there.
Yeah, Carter Lundy 5 seconds ahead of the field here. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. One more chance for Cameron Dance to get after Ted Burns. Entering this race with 6 weeks counted, 19 points separating Ted Burns from Carter Lundy, 999 to 980. David Porcelli, 2 weeks down, and he's sitting on 800 points. He is by no stretch out of this points battle yet either. However, looks like this is going to be the 3rd drop week for Porcelli, as he is going to finish, looks like no better than the 11th position here this evening. Dance having the look outside. Ooh. That's gutsy. Can he get the move made up the hill? Oh, he slides a little bit wide. That might be all she wrote. Under the Worth Bridge for the final time. Out of the carousel. Twin checkers will go in the air. Carter Lundy will pick up another win this season. Win number 62 in the official series. 2nd place going to go to Ted Burns. Cameron Dance will round out your podium. You heard that right. Carter Lundy, 103 starts, 61 wins in U.S. Open Wheel D-Class competition. Good.
Just need 8 more and he can retire.
That's impressive. As Carter makes his way back around to the front stretch, let's take a look at your final race results here this evening. Kind of what we expected. Place that is tough to pass. We said you're going to have to be gutsy to get it done. And Ted Burns did just that. Recovers from the early slowdown to come home 2nd behind race winner Carter Lundy. Cameron Dance 3rd. Nicholas Daly, Carl Lemkuhl round out your top 5. 6 through 10 going to be Lachlan Capel, Sebastian Flock, Rod Eskew, Richard Holt, and Mike Prudhomme. Last car on the lead lap. David Porcelli, Mike Eckmeyer finishing 1 lap down, 11th and 12th respectively. Nagisa Yoshikawa going out very early in this race, finishing in the 13th position.
Burn it down, son. Burn it down.
Yep, buddy. Carter Lundy getting after it here on the front straightaway. Sim Racing Center on the side of the number 3 machine. He picks up the win in what will be our final race broadcast of the week. U.S. Open Wheel D-Class at the Rudskogen Motor Center. This one a pretty darn good show here tonight for the USF 2000 cars, U.S. Open Wheel D-Class. Carter Lundy getting the win over Ted Burns and Cameron Dance. 10 p.m. in the East. Basically, when you started watching this show is when we're going to be actually on the air showing you the U.S. Open Wheel C-Class race. This race runs in the 9 p.m. hour Eastern Standard Time. It'll be Eastern Daylight Time. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. Big news coming out this weekend. What the heck? We'll give the sneak peek here tonight. What do you think, James? Should we give a spoiler before the motorsports show this weekend? Everybody else does.
Just take your spoiler so that people don't get mad.
Maybe a little taste.
3 vintage racing series are coming to the National Racing Network in what amounts to happy hour time slots in the afternoon. These are kind of more Eurocentric series, but 4 of the best cars on the iRacing platform, 4 of my absolute favorites to drive, are going to be coming right here to the National Racing Network for 2023 Season 2. We got a whole lot of excitement coming. New graphics packages, some rebrandings, new series, more real-world racing content than you can shake a stick at. A whole lot is coming here, but we'll do the official announcements here. Actually, we'll probably spread them out over the next couple of weeks. I think we'll do that. Weeks 10, 11, and 12 of the season, we'll announce one each. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here this weekend. NRN will be covering the Motorsports Motorsports Race Car Motorsports Trade Show and Expo, whatever it is. Look it up online. Motorsports 2023 from the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Several tens of thousands of square feet of nothing but race cars, news, and announcements. A whole lot of real-world content coming up for you this weekend here on the National Racing Network. Don't want to miss any of it. But with that, we're getting the heck on out of here. For James Watson, Sebastian Kinder, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here tonight. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great weekend, everybody.